Happening now, we're taking a deep dive into two proposals from City Hall that would install speed cameras in school zones here in Jamestown, and an update on the allegations of sexual harassment in New York's Attorney General's office, plus how a local middle schooler is giving back to those in need this holiday season.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, Jamestown City Council will review two ordinances during their work session meeting on Monday, focusing specifically on traffic cameras with the goal of improving school safety. Our Bronson Rasmussen has more from the newsroom on these proposals.
There are two proposals on the table. The first would install speed zone cameras within school zones, and the other would install traffic cameras to bus stop sign arms. All of this coming to a head from a string of school zone accidents locally almost a year ago. This is not the first time the subject came up. In fact, the city initially approved the measure, but due to complications with a contractor, officials decided to move in a different direction. This time, local lawmakers plan to hire Traffipax LLC out of Jupiter, Florida, to install the traffic system. Violators of school speed zones will be fined $17 per instance. While the new measure is an important step, one Jamestown area mother told us that this may not be enough, especially when heavy snow falls.
It goes back to the city as well, because it's not safe for them to walk on the road because half the roads have huge bumps, and then it's not safe for them for even riding the bike on the sidewalk because the sidewalks are also not even.
The other ordinance will allow lawmakers to work alongside bus patrol out of Lorton, Virginia, to set up and install cameras on school bus stop signs. The Jamestown City Council work session will take place at 7:30 with committee meetings at 7 on the 4th floor of City Hall in the police training room. Reporting in Jamestown, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. Now, we've since reached out to Jamestown Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Kevin Whitaker today for more on the proposals. He declined an on-camera interview and said he'll defer comments until after City Council makes a final vote on the subject. An early morning noise complaint here in Jamestown led to the arrest of a 30-year-old man on drug and weapons charges. Officers with Jamestown Police responded to a complaint of a loud vehicle running on Barrow Street just after 2 in the morning on Monday. During their investigation, officers allegedly discovered Dylan Abbey with drug paraphernalia and narcotics in plain view. Abbey was given commands to exit his vehicle, but instead police said he fled the scene. After later coming to a stop a short distance away, Abbey was arrested. A search of the vehicle allegedly revealed a quantity of fentanyl, cannabis, and 3 different types of pills, as well as plastic knuckles. Abbey was held at Jamestown City Jail pending arraignment on drug and weapons charges. He also faces several traffic violations, including fleeing a police officer in a motor vehicle. A local hair salon is stepping up to help those in need this holiday season. Detailed Salon is collecting non-perishable items for St. Susan's Center in Jamestown through December 22nd at their storefront that's at 137 Main Street in Randolph. Over the past year, inflation in dairy products especially has caused a greater demand for St. Susan's services. Over Thanksgiving alone, they served meals to nearly 100 people with the help of 16 volunteers. At Details, those who make a donation, like a canned food item, will be entered to win a $50 gift certificate towards a free haircut. Brainchild and salon owner Amber Orog and stylist Lisa Caswell, the two want to help those who might be struggling.
Well, if it's tough for us who are working and, things are going kind of well, imagine what it's like for people who are not working, or if things aren't going well for them, or they've already been struggling and then the price of everything went up. You gotta, you feel bad for that kind of thing. So if we're cleaning out our cupboards and there's that thing in there that you're not gonna eat, why not donate it to somebody who could or would, or might not have anything if that's, if they didn't get that.
Now, this is not the only collection event that's happening this week, by the way. On Thursday and Friday from 6 in the morning until 6 at night, and then Saturday from 8 to 2, the Holiday Hall will be accepting donations at the Jock Shop parking lot in Brooklyn Square here in Jamestown, all for the St. Susan's Center. Well, at just 12 years old, the Jamestown middle schooler has helped hundreds of kids in need have a great holiday season. Our Alyssa Wright sat down with her to share her story and how she needs your help.
From coats and boots to toys and makeup, Taylin Kendall is spreading holiday cheer.
For my giving mission, I have a giving mission for kids with leukemia, cancer, long-term illnesses, and kids that don't have a lot.
This tradition started a decade ago, all stemming from a kind-hearted 2-year-old.
There was a little boy that had leukemia, and I overheard my mom talking about him, and so I ran inside and I grabbed my favorite little toy that I had, and I was like crying, "Give this to him," because I felt so bad and I just wanted to make him smile.
Kendall accepts donations of toys and games, along with necessities that are often overlooked.
I collect toys and hats, gloves, mittens, boots. We've bought makeup for teenage girls. We've bought hair ties, deodorant, like shampoo, body wash.
In total, Kendall has helped well over 100 children.
I think around 57. This year, 41. But we've helped many children throughout the years. Yeah, maybe like 372, like 350 to like 400.
In the end, this young girl isn't looking for praise or thanks, but rather simply wanting to help others.
It makes me happy that everybody else is happy, and it just feels really good.
To help Taylin on her giving mission, or see what pop-up events she may be hosting, you can visit her Facebook page, Taylin Kendall's Giving Mission. Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you. There's a list of needed items posted on her page for those who are willing to lend a hand to Taylin's mission. Such a great cause there, and it's good to see so many people rallying to give back, especially when things might be a little more tough this holidays as well. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Andrew Stevenson standing in for us today at the First Defense Weather Center. And while people are out there giving, they're maybe having to battle some winter weather, I know, come later on in the week. But this weekend, Andrew, minus a couple clouds, things were A-okay if you were trying to get your last-minute shopping in.
And it might be different by this time next weekend, but I'll give you the forecast coming up here in just a minute. Let's start off with a look at the Chautauqua Lake sky camera here, which shows clouds, lots of clouds. Nothing but clouds out there right now. We will get into some sunshine eventually as we head into tomorrow, but for today, we're just going to be socked in with the clouds. First Defense Doppler radar over the past 5 hours shows all those clouds across the region. No matter where you look out the window, you could be looking out the window down in Warren, in Jamestown, up in Dunkirk, you're going to see nothing but clouds across the region. But I promise you the sunshine will come out, at least for tomorrow and into the middle of the week. But it won't last long. Let's take a look at the high temperatures for yesterday. 34 degrees was the high yesterday. The low was 29, average is 38, and the average low was 24. The record high, 63 degrees, and that was set this time last year. I had to double check that because it didn't seem like it was last year, but the record high was 63, set last year with a record low of negative 21, set back in 1988. So for the rest of the afternoon out there, mainly cloudy skies. Sun will return tomorrow and Wednesday, but we have a big end of the week storm system that could bring some snow, some wintry mix, and definitely some colder air, and I will tell you about that coming up in the full forecast. Justin?
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Going to tap into our inner Annie lovers out there with that forecast for tomorrow anyways. Andrew, thank you. Coming up on the broadcast, we're breaking down the Buffalo Bills win over the New York Jets on Sunday as the team now holds office. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer. but 98% will survive if detected early.
Testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest.
Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills played at home in their first game directly in front of Western New York fans in nearly a month's time, taking on the New York Jets in Orchard Park. To get the blood pumping early with just third down. Now later on in the third, the Jets' Zoo Na Van Knight in his 13-yard touchdown there, now tying the game at 7. However, in the third quarter, Josh Allen, with the keeper, found his way into the end zone for the final TD of the game, and the Bills knocking off the Jets 20-12 in what was a pretty cold game for those in this. Issuing the warning over the weekend, alerting everyone this holiday season that state police would not solicit any donations over the phone. Troopers have received several calls and complaints from those in Western New York that individuals claiming to be affiliated with the state police and/or state troopers union are calling and asking for donations. Troopers say if you receive a call from an organization claiming to be affiliated with NYSP, that a person on the phone would not be a member of the state police or harassment. Our state Capitol correspondent Elise Klein is breaking down what happened and hearing from lawmakers and advocates about how they think the Attorney General's office has handled this complaint so far.
Following the allegations of sexual misconduct, New York Attorney General Letitia James' top aide, Ibrahim Khan, has resigned and faces an investigation. The former aide to the Attorney General's office who filed the complaint told the New York Times when and placed Khan under restrictions within 24 hours of the complaint. The office then engaged in an investigation with an outside law firm on October 4th, 2022. The investigation was confirmed to move forward by the law firm on October 17th. The Attorney General wrote in an official statement that her office treated this matter aggressively and she thanks the women who came forward. She states, quote, "I want to thank the women who came forward, and I want to assure them that they were heard and that I believe them." Some advocate groups and lawmakers feel the Attorney General's efforts were fair.
I think the Attorney General handled the allegations as appropriately as we would want any workplace to handle them.
Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie says he does not currently have any major concerns about the Attorney General's investigation into these allegations.
Sexual harassment, it just shows we still have work to do, in this state, and particularly in protecting women.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
Elise, thank you. Now to Pennsylvania, where the fight for control of the Pennsylvania House continues, with party leaders unable to agree on who will hold the majority. Last week, Democrats swore in their leaders, Joanne McClinton, as the state representative and then announced she'd be the House Majority Leader. House Democrats won the majority of districts in the November 8th general election, but was still reelected because it was too late to replace him on the ballot with a substitute per new state election law there in PA. Well, after winning 102 seats in the election, Democrats say they have every right to the House majority because it was the choice of voters. But Republicans disagree, saying people are what matters.
It's illegitimate, and it's nothing more than an improper takeover of the Pennsylvania House.
We're going to respect the decision they made, and that decision was for 102 Democrats to serve here in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives.
Aside from DeLuca's vacancy, there are 2 additional Democrat vacancies in the PA House. All 3 are in blue districts within Allegheny County and expected to stay Democrat after a special election are held. Well, coming up, they've waited 34 years for this. The families of the Pan Am Flight 103 victims are reacting to the news that the alleged bomb maker now in custody. But first, when we return, Andrew joins us once again with a full look at our weather forecast.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
lights,
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, we're under cloudy skies. The temperature was 27 degrees at the Jamestown Airport as of the noon hour with a northeast wind at 7 miles per hour. That's giving us a feel-like temperature with a wind chill of 19. So it feels chilly out there. Across the northeast, not much precipitation happening wise, but there is plenty of clouds. Oop, gone too fast there. Let me go back one more slide here. Across the northeast, plenty of clouds in the middle of the week. So we'll look forward to sunshine. But by the end of the week, another system is going to impact the region. That's going to bring some wintry mix. That's going to bring some lake effect snow. And behind that system, as we head into the week of Christmas, it looks like the NOAA 8 to 14-day temperature outlook favors well below average temperatures for much across the region if we do get that white Christmas. So let's take a look at Future Scan. Now, Future Scan is going to show clouds for the remainder of the afternoon. It tries to take those clouds out by later afternoon, by sunset, but I think those clouds are going to hang tough at least through much of the night, but those clouds will begin to clear out as we head into overnight hours, leading to partly to mostly sunny skies through the day tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny skies as we head into more clouds to deal with. So for the rest of the afternoon out there, again, mostly cloudy skies out there, mainly cloudy. Come on, there we go. With temperatures low 30s at the hilltops to mid 30s at the lower elevations, a possible scattered snow flurry possible. For tonight, cloudy skies at the beginning of the night, but we will have late night clearing. It will be a chilly one, especially in the valleys, in the mid-teens out there to lower 20s at the lakeshore with a northeast wind of 3 to 6 miles per hour. Now the extended forecast storm system is going to push up the northeast as we head into Thursday and Friday. It looks like Thursday and Friday will be mainly rain and snow, but it looks like expect lake effect snow is going to set up for the weekend. Now, how much snow accumulation we get by the time the weekend rolls around is still yet to be determined, and we'll have more details for the time and when the snow is going to start as the week progresses, Justin.
Yeah, certainly something we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on, Andrew. Thank you. Well, now let's get some headlines from around the nation. And the U.S. is experiencing a high in hospitalization rates due to the triple-demic. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, more than 80% of U.S. hospital beds are now full. That's an 8% hike since the last 2 weeks. Since the middle of 2020, hospitals have been providing capacity information to the federal government in its efforts to capture COVID-19 trends. For the majority of the past 2 years, hospitalizations were below 80%, rising to that level once during the peak of the Omicron surge back in January. This all comes as the CDC reports all but 6 states have high or very high levels of respiratory viruses, whether the cases are due to RSV, flu, or COVID-19. Well, they've waited 34 years for this. The families of the Pan Am Flight 103 victims are reacting to news the alleged bomb maker is now in U.S. custody. A widow is set to share her story today, and the sister of a passenger who died has been speaking out. As Amy Kiley reports, she represents a group of the victim's family.
We're very anxious and eager to hear what comes out of this trial.
Families of those who died in the 1988 Pan Am Flight 103 bombing are speaking out. They're reacting to news from the Justice Department that the alleged bomb maker is in U.S. custody. The department declined to say how that happened.
We have the fortitude, number one, the determination of the families to keep fighting after 34 years, but also the fortitude of our government.
All 259 people on the flight died, along with 11 others on the ground. Most of the victims were Americans.
It is alleged in the criminal complaint and the indictment that at that time, all co-conspirators worked together to arm the explosive device in the suitcase.
The U.S. initially charged the suspect 2 years ago when he was in Libyan custody. His initial hearing now in the U.S. District Court of Washington, D.C., according to the DOJ.
There's a sadness here for the families who lost lives.
Phil Mudd worked for the FBI under former Director Robert Mueller. He says Mueller made the case a priority for years.
The FBI prides itself in never letting a bone go.
And now we will have a trial in the U.S. to hold him accountable, and that is very important to the families.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Amy, thank you. Only one person has ever gone to prison for that attack, a former Libyan intelligence official who was convicted in 2008. He was sentenced to life in prison but released just before he died of cancer. Well, the Orion spacecraft made its ocean splashdown on Sunday after a 25-and-a-half-day uncrewed test flight around the moon. It splashed down in the Pacific Ocean just off of Mexico's Baja, California. Orion traveled nearly a 1.3 million mile, moving so fast outside of that vehicle heated up to around 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. The spacecraft, which launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida back on November 16th, is part of NASA's historic Artemis 1 mission. The goal of this mission is to test whether Orion can safely carry humans and aims to get astronauts back on the moon's surface for the first time since the 19th. At the celebration surrounding this year's Capitol Christmas tree.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
This year's theme, Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape, focuses on the importance of knowing your way out of a home or business in the event that a fire were to break out.
the Hullo Summer Festival in downtown Jamestown. And as you mentioned, the whole goal of this is to connect Jamestown's kids with things to do over the summer.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, Christmas cheer is in the air at our nation's capital. This year, Capitol's Christmas tree, also...
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in Washington, D.C. Out on the National Mall stands this year's Capitol Christmas tree, also known as the People's Tree.
3, 2, 1.
Pennsylvania was the first state to produce a Capitol Christmas tree in 1964. Since then, they've had 4 trees at the forest and in a different state than the previous year's tree.
The Capitol Christmas tree has brought Americans together by highlighting the beauty across this country. From Six Rivers National Forest in California, where last year's tree came from, to the stunning Pisgah National Forest in North Carolina, where this year's tree just arrived. We're blessed with forests that are second to none.
And as you can see from its size, it's no Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
This tree also honors the ancestral people who were first custodians of the forest it came from. The Eastern Band of the Cherokee Indians helped bring this tree this year. It's a reminder that we as people are diverse, that from diversity comes strength.
In many ways.
Our Capitol Christmas tree reminds us of the importance of working together to be good stewards of our environment, so that future generations can enjoy the bounties of our forest at Christmases still to come.
In Washington, D.C.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Rachel Knapp reporting.
It's the happiest season of all. When those
Wow, Rachel, thank you so much. And it's such a gorgeous tree. You talk about something that brings people together. Definitely Christmas is one of those things, and it put those trees together nevertheless. Well, that is going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow live at noon.